Emulate the taste of like non-chicken nuggets. So these nuggets are made from chicken, but they're made to emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Dope.
Oh, that's much better.
Edit all the blather out of your videos because my time is very precious.
Oh, that's fire.
Make it less teal and more
Cerulean? Sure.
Replace your background with something more fun? The cold void of outer space.
Let's boost that sound quality. Emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Dope.
It needs more style. It needs more clips, more gifs, more. Well, I might have made it too gnarly.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Descript 101, Learn the Basics. I am Christiana, Community Manager here at Descript, and I'm joined by the amazing Marcello, Support Manager, altogether awesome human. How are you, Marcello?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome. I'm very excited to be here with you, and honestly, quite a crew today from all over the world. I'm seeing folks from across the United States, Switzerland, looks like Germany. Amazing stuff. Some of my neighbors in Portland, Oregon are here. Amazing. And yeah, we've got a jam-packed session today where we are going to be learning the basics of Descript from Marcello, who has been a Descript expert for quite some time now. So we're in good hands. But yeah, folks, please continue to tell us where you're tuning in from in the chat and tell us how long you've been using Descript for. This event is for beginners, but also for people who are just looking for a refresh. So, and I mean, I've been using Descript for like 3.5 years now, and I can use a refresh every once in a while. So, but yeah, I think we'll just jump right in here, folks, so you know what to expect from us today. So I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to dive right in and get you all settled in the wonderful, wonderful world of Descript. All righty. Sharing my screen here. Cool. Cool. Technology. There we go. All right. So once again, everybody, welcome to Descript 101. You're going to learn the basics of Descript today and leave in about an hour and a half or so feeling much more confident making videos and podcasts and all kinds of other stuff with Descript. Here we go. So if you can imagine it, you can make it with Descript. We love to show these examples at the top of our events of things that our community of users make with Descript. YouTube videos, social clips, podcasts and video podcasts. Maybe you're a marketer like me and you're looking to make marketing videos. Maybe you teach something like Marcello does at work all the time and making educational videos or product demos. Maybe what you're looking to make with Descript isn't even on here. Let us know in the chat on YouTube what you are going to be making with Descript or you're hoping to make. And speaking of chatting on YouTube, this is how you're going to have a great event today. These are our event FYIs. Use that YouTube chat for comments and questions. The amazing Trevor on our support team is in the chat today. Trevor is a chat wizard. I mean, fast and furious in there. Ask your questions and you will find answers from Trevor, but we will also save some for Q&A. The session is recorded and we will send it in a follow-up email after the event. So if you have to jump out early, no worries. And then if you need more help, help.descript.com is your best friend. Help center articles on there, guides. Also, that's where you can get in touch with Marcello and his amazing team. So definitely check that out. And then before we dive into the meat of our event, I just always love to bring this up in the beginning. Your feedback is super important to us. We would love for you to fill out our feedback survey at the end of this event so we can continue improving. We're trying some new things today, actually, to make this event even better, and we would love to know how it goes. So please let us know, and I'll bring this up at the end as well. So don't feel like you have to scurry virtually. That's an interesting Interesting word.
That was good. Write that down.
Okay. All right. So welcome everyone. If you're just joining in, this is Descript 101. Introduce yourself in the chat and we're going to get started here. Okay. So this is our agenda for today. We are going to start off by reviewing some key Descript features, the top 5 things we think you should know for a 101 basis to get yourself sorted. Then Marcello is going to give us a tour of the Descript interface so you know where to find things and how to use the app to your best ability. Then we will do a video editing demo where we will, from start to finish, Marcello will walk us through how to make a video with Descript, and then we'll do some Q&A. Oh, everyone loves learning objectives. So at the end of this is our scorecard here. This is what you want to leave feeling like you accomplished or what you learned from this event. Number 1, feel confident navigating the Descript interface, knowing where everything is. 2, you should feel like you can edit a video using text-based editing with Descript. If you're like, what is text-based editing? We're about to show you, so no worries. And then 3, use some key Descript features like Underlord, scenes, and layouts, which we will cover in just a second. So those are our learning objectives, and we'll be checking in on these as we go. All right. So let's dive into some key features that we are going to cover today to get you acquainted with Descript. First up is text-based editing. So this is sort of the promise of Descript, and what sets Descript apart from other editors is that you edit video and audio like you would a doc. So if you know how to write in a Google Doc or Notion Doc or Microsoft Word or whatever it is, you can make videos, podcasts, or clips with Descript. You can see in this picture here, this is what it looks like. It looks like a Google Doc. And that means you can edit video just like you would in a doc in terms of deleting, ignoring something, copy and pasting. It really sort of changes the game in terms of ease and opens up making media to larger audiences. Marcello, anything I'm missing here on text-based editing?
No, you hit everything perfectly. I'll just add a humongous +1 as a longtime video and audio editor. The option for text-based editing is amazing. It's something that really, really opens the doors out for any and everybody that wants to edit. I have been using editing tools for however long, and this is something that is extremely, extremely open for people that are new to this type of media. So. Yeah.
Totally. Yes. And this script editor where you see the text kind of holds everything together. So often you can make an entire video or podcast just with working in the text. But also, of course, this is your scene editor where you're going to be able to change your visuals, which we'll talk about. And of course, there's a timeline for people that want to get a little fancy. But this is really what we'll be focusing on today. All right, moving on down here. Next, okay, so the first part of a workflow is actually like getting your media, getting those files ready. So you got a couple options. First up is recording using Descript. So we have a remote recording tool called Rooms. A good reason to use Rooms is if you're going to record with someone else, like you have a video podcast, you're doing an interview, and yeah, it's a super collaborative multi-track recording studio that lives right in Descript. Or you can also record right inside Descript just in your editor. So if you're just recording yourself talking to the camera, it's a super great option. It's reliable. It's very simple. And it just helps you get your media right into Descript super fast. And we will show you how to do that today. Or Marcello will, to be specific. Anything I missed here?
Nope, super solid. Yeah, Rooms is a great tool for remote recording and collaboration. And like Christiana mentioned, we have tools to either record directly in, record with friends, or we're about to get to, I'm assuming, bringing in your own content.
Exactly. So that's next. Transcribing your media. So another option for getting your video files, your audio files into Descript is to just upload them. Or what I like to do is just drag and drop them right on my project, and Descript will automatically transcribe it for you. So you get this really pretty script here. And then you can do that text-based editing that we just talked about. We are very proud to have industry-leading accuracy and speed for our transcriptions, but that doesn't mean it all right every single time. It really depends on your audio quality and things like that. But we have all the tools you need to correct that transcript. And we're going to show you how to easily do that. And we have a bunch of features that make it super easy to edit this up and get it all right. So you have great captions, a great transcript, all of that good stuff. And yeah, we'll dive into that. All right, second to last here. Underlord, your AI editing assistant. So we introduced Underlord into the app about 6-ish months ago, I want to say. And you can think of it as your very capable AI editing assistant that you can delegate tasks to, but you are still in complete creative control. So Underlord has a bunch of different powers and features that you can lean on to help take like the drudgery that is editing. Think removing your filler words, increasing the quality of your audio with studio sound. Maybe you want to change your background, things like that. But it also is pretty powerful with things like translation, writing your YouTube descriptions, all kinds of stuff, which Marcello will get into. But Underlord is a really important aspect of Descript for interacting with an AI tool to help you get your stuff done faster. So, and it's kind of cute too, little robot guy. So, okay, and then moving on, last bit here, scenes and layouts. So, this scenes and layouts are these two like aspects of editing in Descript that are really the core to telling your visual story. We like to think of them almost as like a slide deck or like a slide presentation, where scenes are your slides. They're little containers that you'll make where you want to tell different aspects of your story. And then layouts are the collection of elements that actually give those scenes a visual style. Scenes and layouts sort of will lead, that's the features you'll lean on to get your final product, what it looks like, clean, professional, or weird and crazy if that's your thing. And we will dive into this today because we just made some really awesome updates to scenes and layouts as a part of some announcements last week, Descript Season 8, that, speaking from personal experience, has completely changed my workflow in Descript and made me move a lot faster. So I'm very grateful and biased about this one. But I think you guys will like it. Anything to add to scenes and layouts?
Yeah,
Marcello?
just wanted to quickly add one. Today we'll be looking at a layout that Christiana boosted in one of our recent marketing videos. And two, the same way that Christiana has mentioned that like text-based editing is great for people that are new to video and audio editing. Think of scenes is the same kind of thing. We saw the script as an easy way for people to interact with video and audio that might not know how to from other platforms. Scenes is that same thing, but visually, right? We have these thumbnails on the left-hand side. They give you a quick view, like a slide deck or preview of what's going on. You can interact with the visuals in the scene editor. But again, this is an extension of enabling people to create no matter where you're coming from.
Exactly. Yes. Well worded. Okay, great. So those are the 5 key aspects of Descript we wanted to introduce to you at the top. We will now go over all of those things in the demo and in the interface tour. But just as a reminder, this is recorded. You can always come back to this at any time if you want to review. Okay, but I'm going to pass it over to you, Marcello, and we will jump into the interface tour.
Sounds great. Let me share my screen and find a good still frame in this video where my face does not look crazy. All right, everyone should be able to see my screen.
Yep, you're good.
Perfect. Okay, so thank you for getting us started off, Christiana. Like Christiana mentioned, we're going to do a quick interface tour. So before we look at the video that we're going to be making or aiming towards, I want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable navigating the interface of Descript. So just as a quick overview, we'll go over what we see on the screen currently, and then some of the options on the right-hand side panel.
Cool.
But going from left to right, on the far left, we see our scene rail or like scene thumbnails here. These are going to show me every individual scene that I have in this composition. In this composition or in this example project here, we have 5 scenes, an intro, 3 middle ones, and my outro. We'll get into that in a bit. But moving from left to right, here in the top, we're seeing the name of my composition. This is just the name of the piece of media that I'm working on. I've named this, what is Descript? The main. We'll look at the edit or unfinished in a moment.
Cool.
Below that, we have our script area. This is the bread and butter of Descript. This is where you're going to be spending a majority of your time editing or cleaning up content, is right here in the script. Like Christiana mentioned, this is functionally the same as editing a Word doc or a Google doc or whatever kind of doc that you utilize. But the same way that I could use like a Command or Control Z to undo something, I can do that same thing here in Descript. I can make a selection of a text range, click delete on my keyboard, and just like in a Google doc or Word, again, whatever doc, it will delete that content. But we'll find, again, any transcribed media that we've added to our composition here in the script area, dead center.
Awesome.
Yeah. Moving to the right-hand side, we have here the canvas. Let me just, again, pull still so we can see something in here. But we have on the right-hand side the canvas, or sorry, the scene editor. So this is where we are going to see all the visuals of what we are editing. Again, we see the transcript here on the left-hand side, but this is actually the video that I have recorded. So we see the transcript and the partnered video to the right. The same, like I mentioned before, the same thing with text editing to make video and audio editing easier. We have a lot of manual controls that you can use from the scene editor. So here I can adjust elements on screen without having to open a timeline. I can rename or reorganize or adjust anything here. But again, the scene editor is going to be here on the right-hand side.
Cool.
And then on the far right now, we have our right-hand side rail. There's a couple of things in here, so I'll go over these one by one. But first off, a feature that Christiana just mentioned, our good friend Underlord. Underlord's right up here at the top. There's a lot inside of Underlord. I would encourage everybody, shameless plug, to go to help.descript.com, our help center, and check out information about all of these Underlord actions. But I'll go through one or two from each of the groups that Underlord has. Starting off at the top, we have Sound Good. The two flagship features from Descript are Studio Sound and removing filler words. So removing ums and ahs or removing that background noise. I live in downtown Oakland. If I open my windows, you hear a lot of background noise. Studio Sound removes that. And I was raised on early Nickelodeon, so I use a lot of filler words. Removing filler words removes all that. Scrolling down, we have Look Good. This can be anything from our green screen feature, which I'll show in a sec, to Eye Contact, which is a tool that snaps your eyes to the screen if you are reading a teleprompter. Really, really encourage everyone to check that out. It works scary good.
Yep.
Last ones down here, we have Repurpose. This can be repurposing your long form content to shorter clips, or my favorite feature, translating to reach other audiences in different demographics. We also down here have Publish. Though I can create content, might not be able to write the best video description for my YouTube channel for this video. So you can use Underlord to draft some titles with you or brainstorm there. And then finally, continuing on that, we have the Write section. So if you need help writing or rewriting a script, if you just need to brainstorm with the bot, you have all of those options here at Underlord. And again, all of that can be found on the right-hand side panel by clicking Underlord on the top right of the script. Anything I missed there, Christiana? I know we have quite a few things in Underlord, but I'm just curious if you have anything to add there.
No, I think you crushed it. A really good way to think about Underlord, again, is just that's your editing assistant. Delegate out what you want to give over to AI to help with, removing those uhs. That's a very mundane thing to do. But if there's aspects of this that you want to keep to yourself, that's totally fine. Just find what works for you. But it is a great way to just get some stuff done that you need to do for your editing. It's pretty handy. But
absolutely.
No, you crushed it.
I've been around video and audio editing for a while, and I understand we have bots that can do X, Y, Z. I still want to have a lot of creative control for my video and audio, but also I'd never want to have to remove me saying literally and all that ever again. So hand over the grunt work to the bot and get the fun for yourself. But yeah.
Love it. Cool.
Right. All right, let's move down on this right-hand side panel. Next down, we have Project. This is going to contain all the elements of your project. That means files, compositions, and anything in between. But you can find all of that here under the Project tab. Moving down, we have Scene. So we've talked about the concept of scenes and how they are a container for visual assets. If I click Scene on the right-hand side here, I'll see all the elements of the current scene that I'm on. Right now, I have Scene 1 selected, so I can see what layout I have used here. Again, this is my Helsinki blueberry, my new favorite ever since Christiana demoed it. We can see the duration of the scene and effect elements of the scene, including like transitions in and out of that scene. But that's all handled here under the scene section. Next, we have layer. So we're looking first at a scene, which is a collection of layers or media. Now we're isolating down to one layer. So we're looking at just one piece of media at a time. So this is the video of me. Here I can see elements about this. Think of this as like a properties panel per se, right? I can see elements about this piece of media, any audio or visual effect that's been added to it, and so on. Moving down here, we have record. Christiana mentioned earlier that we have the ability to record with rooms or record directly into Descript. With the video that you're seeing on screen, I recorded this directly into Descript using the web-based editor. But again, you can import your media to that project files folder from earlier, or if you want to record with Descript, you can do that right from this record option. Also, you'll see here towards the bottom, record with others in rooms. So if you do want to have a group get together, you can facilitate up to 10 people, including yourself, in a rooms call. So if you click on that, it'll open a new page with a rooms link that you can share out. But again, that's how you would record with Descript, either again directly in or via rooms. Anything to add there?
Nope, you crushed it.
Oh, yeah. All right, moving down, we have elements, last three lightning round. But we have elements here. So elements are going to be any like visual flair on your screen. Think literally an element on screen like text, maybe subtitles. We have now placeholders as well. If you have, where your company logo is going to be, but you haven't gotten that asset back from your design team yet. They also have down here some other things like progress bars, annotation, and so on. But any like visual elements or like visual flair that you're going to see on Descript is going to be here under the Elements tab. And then last two here, biggest one that we're going to look at as well is captions. So captions, we have a bunch of preset captions for all your audio and video. These captions will mirror exactly what is in your transcript. So once you have your video transcribed or audio transcribed, you can select a caption really, really easy. You can use one of these as a starting off point and then adjust to your own custom captions as you'd like. But you can do all that here from the captions menu on the right-hand side. And then finally, we have our stock assets. If you want to, you can pull from our stock media library. Please note there are some specifications on what you have access to based on your plan. But again, the stock media library at a basic level is available to all plans. So I'd encourage everyone to take a peek at our videos, GIFs, stills, whatever we have. I used one or two in this video, I believe, so we'll show that in a second as well. But that is all from that right-hand side panel. Christiane, anything else on there?
Nope, crushed it. I love checking out the stock images and using that for B-roll. But yeah, no, that was a great tour of the Descript interface there. The scenic route, open up all these drawers. So yeah, thank you so much, Marcello. And one thing I just wanted to hit on, as you were talking about recording, some folks were asking, so are we using Rooms right now to record this virtual event and to stream it? Just want to clear that up, that no. So we don't support live streaming capabilities. It's just for recording, remote recording, or recording right into Descript. We use Restream for these events. And right now we're streaming over to YouTube and also to X. And so, yeah, shout out Restream. We've been using you for quite some time. But great. Okay, so Marcello, I think I'll just jump back to the slides really quick to talk about where we've been and where we are headed next. Cool. Okay, so Marcello just took us on that Descript interface tour. We hit that first learning objective. You should feel a little bit more confident navigating the Descript UI and where to find those core features that we talked about. If you want a refresher or you just want to have this open in a tab so you can review after we finish up today, this link, Descript/tour, maybe Trevor, you could throw this in the chat, will take you to a Help Center article that reviews all of this in a handy dandy video and also has it written out. Cool. Okie dokie. Well, I think we can get into the most fun part, in my opinion, which is seeing this all in action with a video editing demo led by the amazing Marcello. So maybe we jump into that.
Tight. Let me share my screen and then I'll just show off. We were seeing a little bit of what the video was while I was going through the demo, but I'll back this. This is a video that I recorded a little bit earlier yesterday morning on just like a quick how-to. This is about a 45-second video, and it took me about a minute and a half to edit this in full. So I just want to show really quickly how easily we can get to this endpoint, but this is what we'll be working towards today. Hello, everybody. My name is Marcello. I'm a customer support manager here at Descript, and I'd like to teach you a little bit about Descript today. Today, we're going to learn about what Descript is and how to share that info with your friends. First up, Descript is a text-based editor. That means that Descript can edit video and audio based on transcribed text rather than waveforms or a timeline editor like other systems. Descript could also generate AI version of your voice with our AI speaker feature. After you've generated AI speech, you can export your video or audio to the platform you so choose. I post my stuff over on Spotify for my weekly podcast listeners. But that's all. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day.
Beautiful.
Quick, easy, very chill.
That guy looks just like you, Marcello.
It's uncanny. I feel like I have to reach out to this guy and let him know that he's got a great mustache. But yeah, so what we saw here again is a video that was made entirely within Descript. I think the only thing I used outside of Descript was a screenshot for the Spotify logo because I don't think that was in our stock media library. But aside that, this is all made with Descript using our default layouts, using our in-app recorder, and using a screenshot of our own tool and our stock media library. So let's work to get there, right? I'm going to open up this secondary composition so we can see what it's like working from a blank slate up to that point.
Cool.
The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my original recording. Now, again, I recorded this directly into Descript by clicking the record button on the side here, but instead of re-recording, I'm just going to drag and drop in my media from my library on the right-hand side.
Cool.
This
and folks,
I
just wanted to flag, you can, if you just have a file on your computer, it works the same way. Just drag and drop it onto your project.
You got it. You beat me to the punch. But yeah, so we've just dragged and dropped in a singular asset, this recording from my project files. I can now play this back. You'll see. Hello, everybody. My name is Mark. That's me. Look at that. But cool. So we have this media already in Descript. What do we do from here? Well, let's start off with some text-based editing. So right off the bat, I'm noticing something. And I think, Christiana, you mentioned this earlier. While our transcriptions are extremely, extremely accurate, there are some things that Descript might not know, like the spelling of my name, perhaps. Here at the very top of our transcription, we have Marcello. My name is spelled with 2 L's and not 1. Common mistake. I can forgive Descript, but I will not forget. But let's say, hey, I want to correct this, right? Like if I put captions on right now, it's going to show the incorrect spelling. What do I do about this? Mm-hmm. This is going to happen whenever you have like proper nouns or names or anything like that. But how do I correct this, Marcello? Super, super easy. We're going to look at this again, very similar to a text-based editor or to a Word doc. I'm just going to make the selection here of the word that I want to correct. Now you'll notice as soon as I make a selection, right above whatever I've selected will be a mini menu. Here I can see quick actions like asking Underlord something, adding a scene specifically where I've selected, or what I'm most interested in, correcting. Here, if I click correct, or for my keyboard shortcut warriors, if you click C on your keyboard, it's the keyboard shortcut for that, or hotkey, I don't know, whatever anyone wants to call those. But if I click correct, here I have a little modal that appears where I can now manually type in the correct spelling of whatever word or phrase. I'm just going to add an extra L in here to correct that. And cool, I can be all done. There's one thing on the right-hand side that I want to call out, though. If you have like a one-off word that you need corrected one time, there's correct one. There's also to the right, correct all. Anytime I say my name in here, I want it to be the correct spelling. So I'm going to click correct all. And now anytime the Descript sees Marcello with 1 L, it's going to add that second L. And just like that, I have corrected text. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Easy peasy. But yeah, that's so like step 1 of text-based editing is that. Awesome. Now let's look at like maybe removing some media. Over here, I had a flub. This is the unedited version. Descript could also generate AI version of your voice with our AI speaker feature. We're also working on, I didn't want to tell anybody what we were also working on. So
top secret, a teaser for the audience.
Yeah, this is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So instead of adding that, right, like I trail on here and then I realize I don't want to talk about what we're working on. I want to talk about this feature. So I want to remove that. How do I do that, Marcello? Well, I'll tell you, Marcello. Very easy. You make the range selection just like you would in a word editor, and we click delete on our keyboard. Just like that, I have removed that section of the video. It doesn't look like much because it's gone. That's great. But not playing back feature. After you've generated AI, and there you go. I am not disclosing company secrets and thus will not be let go. Another week complete here at Descript. But again, text-based editing, extremely easy. We can make selections. We can copy, paste things around if you have parts of your story out of order or content out of order. And again, we can also correct that text by making a selection to a word or set of words and then manually typing out the correction.
Love it. Cool.
Yeah. That's our getting started for text-based editing. Anything to add there, Christiana?
Well, I'm getting a good segue over from the audience where folks are talking about I use some jargon in my content, and Descript often gets it wrong. I wish there was a way where I could just have these preloaded and Descript could get it. So I think that means we should talk about the transcription glossary.
What a crazy layup to an existing feature that we have here in Descript. And it's in tools, right? Yeah. Okay. So if you click on what is referred to in Silicon Valley as the hamburger menu, but I think it's just 3 lines. If you click on those 3 lines on the top left, you'll be brought with this menu. Click on tools and then transcription glossary. For those that don't know, transcription glossary is where you can add your like uncommon words. So a word like Marcello, a word like you see at the very top here, Descript. This can be any proper noun, any name, jargon, anything like that can be added here. When we transcribe audio, we have like a percentage of like correctness. If we have but below a certain threshold of correctness, we will then look at your transcription glossary to sub in what could be the correct word there. So again, in this case, right, like Descript is not a word that by default Descript transcribes. We have to add that to the transcription glossary as a proper noun or like thing for this to transcribe well. So if you are in a business that is extremely jargony, like audio engineering or like my partner, like in some like medical field, you want to have those terms pre-entered. If you know you're going to talk a lot about something, just add that in there beforehand and you're good to go. As we saw, there's an easy way to correct post, but if you are already aware of what's going on or you already know, hey, these 5 words are probably not going to be transcribed very easily, these acronyms, right? You can add those to your transcription glossary in advance. And that affects all users on the drive. So for me and Christiana, we're both members of the same drive. Anything that I add to my transcription glossary is going to be affected on Christiana's as well.
Yes, it's super handy. So you don't have to make glossaries for each of your projects. It's just sort of universal, which is super great. Awesome.
Tight. All right, cool. Let's now look at breaking this out into scenes and then applying some layouts to those scenes. So first things first, I want to split this up into like general segments of me introing, me talking about the product, and then me outroing, kind of like what we saw in that main video. So here I have my intro. Hi, Marcello, blah, blah, blah. We're going to learn about what's going on. Cool. I want to add a scene right here on this first up, right? I want to split my content out. And again, I'm making a secondary scene because there will be a difference in visual or audio content here. So think of it like a marker, a chapter, something that is breaking out part 1 to part 2. Part 1 is me introing what Descript is. Part 2 is me then talking about it. So I'm going to click the / on my keyboard to add a scene. And then here you'll immediately see some options for layouts that we can apply. We'll apply some layouts in just a moment, but you can see here, as soon as you add a scene, you have the layout menu. We're going to add a couple more scenes really quick, just so I can split this out, and then we'll apply some scenes, or apply some layouts, sorry. Let's just start with 3 scenes here to make it easy. So scene 1 is our intro, scene 2 is our like main content, and scene 3 is our outro.
Cool.
So now let's apply some layouts to these scenes. So I'm going to show a couple different ways how we can apply layouts. Number 1 is I can right click, or for my trackpad users, 2-finger click on the scene thumbnail on the top left-hand side. This is going to now give me an option to change my layout, or I can even copy and paste layouts to other scenes. but I'm going to select change layout. And I like the Helsinki blueberry. I think that goes kind of. And we're just going to pick the intro. Actually, I like the camera one more. We're going to camera.
Cool.
And now that layout is applied. If we play back, we'll see.
Hello, everybody. My name is Marcello.
And boom, that was the layout. That's just the transition in. Let's pick a more flowy one so we can actually see that. Okay, we'll do intro. Just kidding.
Hello, everybody. My name is Marcello. I'm a customer support manager here at Descript.
So I just applied that layout. We see here, intro that contains big title text. Like I mentioned earlier, we can click in the canvas and edit this. So by default, you'll apply a template or a layout, and you'll see these elements on the right-hand side. I can just manually enter here, Marcello talks about Descript, if I can type. So quickly and easily, I'm adding a scene or a layout to the scene. Now let's look at a second way to add a layout to our second scene. If I click on this /, that same when I first added it, I'll see this mini scene or a layout menu. So here I'm going to select just captions because I think this will be good with just a layer of captions so you see what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then played back.
First up, Descript is a text-based editor.
Awesome. Captions applied. And then for our last layout, I'm going to click on this scene button on the right-hand side that we saw here earlier. And then we see at the top of this scene menu, the third way to select a layout. And we'll just pick outro because that was easy peasy. Cool. And then again, here we see the outro layer applied with some like placeholders until we add in Descript. Can I type? Oh my God. Anyway.
The hardest thing to do, type.
I could do everything in Descript except spell Descript. So
completely understand. Well, this was, it's so exciting to see these updates in action because we just officially launched these last week, folks. These new layout packs. There's like, I think we made like 6, maybe even more than that, of these custom layout packs that you see. So this, we're looking at the Helsinki blueberry. There's a bunch of, we got some professional designers to make some really good looking layouts for you all to have access to. And you saw, like, again, those are in the Descript gallery, but you can edit those whichever way you would like. You can change the colors, you can move things around, and then you can actually save those as your own custom layouts. So all of this stuff that you're seeing is available to you. And I just wanted to use this as an opportunity to plug Descript Season 8, which is happening a week from today. Our CEO, Andrew, is going to join me on screen, and we're going to talk about everything new that we launched with scenes and layouts, as well as our product manager who led this work. We'll do some demos, but we'll also just answer a bunch of questions. So we would love for you to join us. So I'm just plugging that real quick, and I will throw the link in the chat as well.
Good plug, and you beat me to it. I was going to mention that, like Christiana said, for any of these templates, layouts, anything you see here, they can all be customized. Like, we have this as a jumping off point, but don't think what you're applying here is set in stone, right? We saw earlier when I applied this first layout that I can change the text in that layout, right? But from here, I can right click this scene thumbnail and save this scene as a new layout, right? I have options to customize this and take this into my own hands. These, like, let's say, this blue is my company blue. I like this jumping off point. I can just lift this like layout and then add my company logo or my company font to it, whatever it may be, and save that. So don't think you are only stuck with what's here. You can create based on our gallery, and then you also have the ability to save layouts for yourself or shared with other Drive members. So instead of me saving this and saying, Christiana, figure it out, I can save this layout as something that's shared among all members of the Drive so that Christiana can access later.
Exactly. Yes, someone brought this up. Can you create and save your own layout pack with your own brand identity? Absolutely. And you can share that with your team so that you're on brand all the time and you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time. Someone else brought this up. Calm Clear Media said, perfect for standardizing intros and outros. Exactly. So you can just slap on the same thing to the beginning of your video. Like if this was a series Marcello was doing, this could just be what he uses every time he kicks off a video. So, so it's really never been easier to make your videos look really good. Good by default is what we've been saying. So
I
yeah.
actually-
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I actually do this every month. We have a once a month like company all hands meeting thing, and I put together a voice of the customer video every month. And I have a template that is my intro, and as default always has the same song, the same animation, a cute little spin. I just have to adjust the month that's in the title, right? But like that's the power of Descript and having these layouts. Is I use this in real life, right? Like it's a very functional tool. But yeah,
Exactly. Cool.
hell yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we've gotten some easy stuff down with applying these layouts, but I would like to now look at some Underlord actions, right? We've broken up this content into scenes, so I have like my general chapters. Now I'd like to add some Underlord polish or get my artistic flair on here, right? Let me give some of the grunt work of like, let's say removing our filler words to Underlord, and then maybe I can do some more, like visual adjusting. But I'm gonna click on Underlord here on the top right of my screen. And first things first, I want to do is I want to apply studio sound to my audio. For me, studio sound is like a necessary element to any recording I do. As like an audio person, like studio sound allows for me to not have to worry about my microphone placement or like or not, in depending on the scenario, not too much about my direct surroundings. For me, studio sound is a given for everything. So I'll apply that first off. But you'll notice really quickly, it's one click. Studio sound is processing and will be finalized in a moment. But after I click Studio Sound, you'll see on the right-hand side here, I now have Studio Sound added to my layer or like my audio layer. And I can adjust the intensity of Studio Sound here. But again, like that's all through the power of Underlord is applying this audio effect and enabling that for my content. Another effect that I really love, that's I feel like is default for most of my content, is green screen. I don't have a clean house. I have a clean computer. I have a clean desktop, but I do not have all the laundry off my floor. So green screen is a great tool for me.
Looks pretty clean to me back there. I just
have no idea how fast I was swiping the floor. I was throwing. Never mind. So. Anyway, green screen is another Underlord action that you can take. As again, some variants on if I'm blending it with my background, I might not have the best differentiation, but again, standard green screen stuff, all of these features can be found under Underlord. But again, as you're seeing it, I'm clicking Underlord. I'm clicking like a button. I'm 2 clicks away from removing background noise entirely from my audio. I'm 2 clicks away from removing my background away from my background entirely, right? Underlord is a very, very like low barrier of entry. Again, you're giving these like standard tasks to a bot to complete instead of you having to meticulously go through and adjust parameters or edit properties. It's very solid. One other thing I just selfishly want to show off again is this translate option. You have translate. Please use that. I think it's a cool feature. I want everyone to expand their social reach.
And we just added a lot of new capabilities to our translation features. You can now use AI speakers, and I think it's like 20 plus languages. So like I could make a video in English because that's the only language I truly speak. And then if I wanted to get my money's worth for the years I studied French in college that I've completely forgotten, I could actually use translation features via Underlord to make a video in French. It's pretty amazing. Trevor, if you wouldn't mind sending in maybe the YouTube video where Ramsey demos that stuff, it's pretty amazing. I saw some questions about translation. Definitely go check that out because last month we just shipped a lot of amazing features. So check that out.
Very cool.
Cool.
Tight. Okay, so just to recap again, we removed background noise with studio sound and we removed my background as a whole with green screen. Let's look at filling that background in with some stock media really quick before we look at getting this content out of Descript to share with the masses. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to click stock here on the bottom right. This is going to be all my stock assets. Christiana, give me a prompt here. What should my background be? Am I in the cold void of outer space or am I too gnarly in the beach?
Let's see. Well, you're talking about Descript, right? So let's have you be in like a tech verse of sorts. Maybe like code happening behind you or something.
Oh yeah, okay, like Matrix.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. Okay, easy.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Cool. And then very similar to what we were doing earlier, I can just drag and drop this media onto the scene. We'll see this green screen in effect here. And I just need to change the layer order so I am in front of this. And abracadabra, a couple of clicks, and now...
First up, Descript is a text-based editor.
Oh, that's awesome.
That means that
golden.
Marcello, maybe you could review how you changed those layers. I feel like sometimes if you're new to video editing, it can feel kind of confusing. How do I position? So maybe we could just cover that really quick.
Absolutely. Great call out. So what you just saw, and just to like kind of repeat back this action, from the stock media library, I clicked and dragged over an asset that I wanted as my green screen background. But you'll notice when I first drag it in, it is on top of everything else. It is the topmost layer because it's the last thing I dragged in. And you might be asking, hey, how do I move this around? Like, how do I get this behind me, right? I have my camera, I have captions, I might have like my company logo. How do I bring this all the way to the back? There's a couple ways to do it, but the two for me easiest is one, just right click in the scene editor and click layer order. There's some keyboard shortcuts here, but for me, the path of least resistance is layer order and send to back. Like 2.5 clicks and I am here.
Yep.
Another option is to reorder the layers here. If I click on scene on the right-hand side, under the layers tab, I see each layer, and you'll notice as I hover my cursor above each layer, each element in the scene editor is highlighted. So canvas or captions is my topmost layer and is highlighted. Gradient here is behind. My script track, me, is there. And then at the very back, digital rain, or what I am going to forever refer to as that matrix visual.
I love it. Cool.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I like to think about it as like stacks of paper, and you're just moving them however you want to tell your visual story. It takes some getting used to if you've not done this before, but it's pretty easy in Descript. So
yeah, coming from other video and audio editors, like there's ways to visualize that, like that concept, but I think Descript does it really, really well, plain and simple, the same way that we do text-based editing, the same way we're doing video editing. This is laid out in a way that it is extremely approachable for people that do not know video editing from the ground up, which is solid.
Exactly. And I'm seeing some questions about like stock media and like how did we get that matrix looking thing in the background. And I just wanted to call out everything that you find in the Descript stock media is royalty free, correct, Marcello? So you can use that in your YouTube videos or wherever, and no one will come knocking down your door for stealing their IP. So you can feel safe doing that. But also, you could drag in any file that you have, a photo, maybe it's your company background that you want on there. You can use your own media as well. Just wanted to flag that.
Yeah, we also even have like text to image generation under Underlord. I don't know if you saw it earlier, but if I click on Underlord, under look good, if I click generate an image, I can generate anything. My favorite thing to do, I think Christiana has seen me do this at least 5 times during webinars, is ask for a funny tech logo. And it usually just puts like Wire Corporation or something. But again, if you want to bring in assets, if you want to use stock assets, if you want to generate your own images inside of Descript, all of that's possible. Quick note for anyone that is curious about more information about the like usage of stock media assets, check our help center. There's an article about that in full, and then like a contact form in case anything gets flagged on like YouTube or any other socials. But yeah,
cool, love it.
But yeah, so that is again like our destination to a baked cake. I know this seemed like quite a few number of steps, but that's the pro with Descript, is that it's only a couple of steps to get to that end result, right? So we broke out, just to recap, we recorded directly into Descript, right? Mm-hmm. We looked at text-based editing, right? So we saw how to correct what was incorrectly transcribed. We saw how to remove media and move that media around in case I got the order of my slides incorrect. We looked at breaking that out into scenes and then applying layouts to said scenes. So we have, our intro, our main content bucket, and our outro with visuals added to it. We checked out some Underlord actions on like removing backgrounds, improving my audio. We looked at a little bit of like translation and then image generation. And that's how this is all looking. But you might be asking, like, what do I do now, right? Like, it's done, right? Like, how do I get this out of Descript?
How do I share it with the world?
1000%. So we could do that in a couple different ways. I'm going to show off now real quick, just publishing and exporting for everybody. So on the top right of Descript, you'll notice there's a publish button. If I click on publish, you'll see this little menu and we'll be presented with some options. So first off, just want to call out that Descript has a publish option that generates a Descript hosted share page. That means that if I click this publish button right here, a website is created that's just share.descript.com/some string of letters and numbers that hosts this video. Think of it like a private YouTube video page or like a Vimeo kind of page where with the link, you can have access to that page. If you are like, hey, I don't want to post to Descript, I want to post to YouTube. Sick. You can also do that. Click on this drop-down menu on the right-hand side here, and you'll see a full list of all of our publishing partners. You can go to anything from YouTube to Restream to Podbean, whatever you want to do. One quick call out is that you will notice in this list, some of these publishing partners are grayed out. That's because some of our publishing partners are audio only versus video and audio. We started as an audio only company, but we have expanded to video in that time, but we have options for both. So if you're still an audio only podcast, you have resources, video, and so on. But to these publishing partners, you have to have a specific type of media for them to accept that media. For instance, YouTube, if I didn't have a video to this, YouTube's not going to take it because YouTube is a video platform, right? So if I don't have video, YouTube would be grayed out. Same on the other end. If I hover above Buzzsprout here, for instance, it says this destination only accepts audio. So I just want to call out, it's not a bug. That's on purpose. Just check what kind of content you have. Well, cool. Just going down the other options on here, we have the options for the resolution of the video. And then again, most importantly, access. So public access, as in this can be searched by search engines or accessible with a link or to members of your drive. And then the two important pieces, naming your video and then selecting your thumbnail. You can either change the frame from within your video or upload a image manually if I had, let's say, a generated image of me describing Descript or something. But yeah, that's all for publishing. And then let's say, okay, hey, I want to get this content to TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it may be. And I'm not seeing that here on this list of export partners. What do I do, Marcello? I will tell you, Marcello. Here's the answer. Click on export right here to the left of publish. Export is going to do exactly what it says it does. It's going to export a file locally to your computer that you can then distribute wherever you would like at any part of your life. One thing to note, though, with export is that we have a lot of different file types for export. You can export the standard video, right? So if you're just exporting your video and you want to upload to YouTube, TikTok, whatever in the world, you can click on video here, select your settings, and export. The same goes for audio. If you're going to a SoundCloud, a Spotify, whatever it may be, you can select audio and it will export just that audio. So even though I have video in this composition, I can export audio only and upload that to my audio platforms. Then some other export options, which I think are really sick, are GIF or GIF, whatever side of the debate you are on that, hash it out in the comments. But I think it's GIF, dude. Anyway, so you also have timeline export. Timeline export is for those of you that are using Descript in your editing pipeline. This is a 101, so maybe not many people are using Descript as part of their workflow. But if you or an editor on your team are using tools like the Adobe Suite or Apple's Logic Pro or Final Cut Pro, any of those additional tools, you can export from Descript in a specific file type that goes to those other tools for people to continue editing in Descript. For instance, I have been doing audio engineering for a minute. I love Descript so much, I'm not going to mix and master my audio in Descript likely. So I will put this into a tool like Logic Pro to do that final piece, right? But that's an option if you so choose. And then the last two are specifically for our transcripts. So we have a transcript export that will export just the text here. And then we also have a subtitles or an SRT export, which is a specific file type for subtitles when you're uploading to applications, again, like a YouTube or a LinkedIn.
Perfect.
But yeah, that is all of our options for export. So again, once you have your content finalized, you can get it out of Descript via publishing, via export, some combination of the two. But once you're done in here, you can get that out of Descript and share that with the world.
Love it.
Bringing a tear to my eye. I hope everyone is creative today. Get something.
Yes. It honestly is really cool to think about. We have 429 people watching this event right now. Just the pure creative power in this crew watching this, and hopefully feeling more confident to use Descript and to get your work out there and shared with the world, whether it's for a brand or a business you work for or you own. It's your own content, maybe YouTube videos or a podcast, whatever it is. We're really honored that you're here and that you're using Descript in your workflow. It's really sacred to us, to be involved in that. So thank you so much. And Marcello, thank you for this amazing demo. It was really cool to see the full baked cake video and then work backwards from blank project to this finished beautiful piece that you could totally share with someone on your team or your audience. So I'm just going to really quickly share my screen to review our learning objectives. But before I even do that, folks, next we're going to jump into Q&A. But I just wanted to flag, we would love your feedback on today's event. Marcello and I have put in a lot of work to continue to make Descript 101s better and better. But we can only get better if we know how it's working for you and if you learned something today. So please fill that out. It'll also be linked in the YouTube channel. I pinned it, or the chat, and also in that follow-up email. So please let us know how we did, so we can continue to improve. We do this about every other month. And yeah, we just always want to get better and better.
I like teaching people. Let me help you, help me help you. Yeah.
Help us help you, help us do this more, to be exact. But okay, I just wanted to share this really quick. So these were our learning objectives for this event today. 1, feel more confident navigating the Descript interface. 2, we want you to leave feeling like you can edit videos using text-based editing with Descript. And then 3, you know how to use these key Descript features like Underlord, your AI editing assistant, scenes, and layouts to tell that visual story. I hope you feel like we've hit on these 3 things and you feel more empowered to go on and start making some stuff with Descript. But I think without further ado, we can hit on some Q&A. And we're right at the hour mark, so amazing timing. We'll do Q&A for the next like 15-ish minutes or so, folks. So if you want to throw any burning questions in the chat, but I've been looking at the chat throughout this event and we'll hit on some of those now. But I guess, is there anything else we should plug? Oh, one thing I'll hit here too is we have a Discord community with, I think 20,000 Descript users have joined that at some point, thousands of active users where they ask the community questions, share what they've made with Descript. But also Marcello hosts weekly office hours in our Discord on Wednesdays, so tomorrow. So if you want to hang with Marcello more and ask some questions in a smaller environment, it's a really good place to do it. Sweet. Okay, well, let's jump into some Q&A. Cool. If I can click over, stop sharing. Huh. Okay. It's weirdly not letting me click on my captions here. So I am just going to ask some things from the start until that works for me. But okay, first question here. Is there a limit to recording length? Descript, or not Descript. I was looking at Marcello and called you Descript.
It's me, Mr. Descript. So yeah, the question is there a limit to the length, like the duration that you can record?
Yes.
There is a maximum number of hours that you can record in rooms. But there's not there's not a maximum like duration that you can record before like Descript breaks, right? Like I'm not gonna say do a 24-hour straight video, but there, aside like based on your plan limitations, there should not be a technical limitation for the duration of recording.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. So a question we've seen popping up quite a bit as we've been going are transitions.
Mm-hmm.
Transitioning between scenes. Can you review how those work? Maybe we could touch on smart transitions, which are new in Descript.
Let me share my screen. Okay, cool. So yeah, the question is like transition, right? So when we're looking at transitions, we are transitioning to and from scenes. So I'm going to click on my scene button on the right hand side to like enable a transition. You'll also see when I selected the Huckleberry, whatever the scene was called, or the layout that was called, it automatically applied a transition. So you can save transitions in layouts as well. But to add a transition, again, I'm going to click on the scene button on the right-hand side here, click on the plus next to transitions. Since I already have a transition in, it's only giving me the option to go out. But I'll do my absolute favorite, the star wipe, which is the sickest effect in my personal respectful opinion. But yeah, that's how it's very easy to like add transitions and then to adjust the duration or the like visuals of the transition. Similar to any of our effects or like parameters, click on the two sliders on to just to the right of the transition. And then here I can select again the type of transition in or out. And then again, I can affect the duration here. And I like to make that a long drawn out fade out because that star wipe is so sick, dude.
Audio to the platform you so choose. I post my stuff over on Spotify.
Okay, I have a black background, so you can't see the star as much. But yeah, star wipe is a great effect.
Pretty cool. I did like that.
Anyway, that's where you find transitions again under scene. And then if you notice here, it's kind of small, but this little like what looks like a comet going to the down bottom right on my scene thumbnails here. This is just a visual indicator that there is a transition. So if you see that, you have applied a transition either in or out.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. So while we're here and looking at these different scenes, we talked about applying layouts quite a bit during the demo, but some folks are asking, so how can I make my own layout?
Great question. So two ways to do it. One, like me and Christiana mentioned earlier, you can use the existing layouts as a starting off point. Mm-hmm. So like here, I applied one of the layouts and then I adjusted, like I added the Descript logo behind me, right? So if I wanted to save this layout, I can right click the layout and then I can save scene as a new layout, right? So if I click on this, then it'll give me the option to save that on my own. That's how to do that from inside of a project. You can also do that from the main drive view. There's like a layouts or a layout pack button on the drive view that you can select and start from absolute scratch. So if you want to start from 0, you can do that from the drive view. Or if you want to start from a jumping off point, you can select any of the layouts that we have here. And then again, save that by right clicking the thumbnail on the left-hand side and saving that scene.
Awesome. Cool.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Okay. So this came up a couple times. Folks are pretty interested in those Underlord repurpose features. Mm-hmm. Specifically, could you show us how Underlord can create clips or a highlight reel just to show that off a bit?
Absolutely. So this is going to, because my content is already like 40 seconds, this might not pull the best content, but totally. The purpose of these repurpose action, again, is to take a long form content and squeeze it. Think like we're probably going to use those features on this webinar after we're done.
Yep.
But all I need to do is click, let's do create clips, for instance, because I think this is a good one. But if I click create clips, first it's going to ask me how many clips I want. I just want one because I don't want to stress my dude out here. Let's make that like 15 roughly seconds. These are, when you enter numbers here, you're not going to get always exactly these back. If Underlord cannot find 10 clips in my 45-second thing, right, it's going to give me
right.
Again, then I'll select a layout. I think I say this every time. I think the Bento Collection 2 is great, but I'm going to do this one because there's only one of me speaking. So I select my layout. The topic is optional, but I can put in like a keyword that I want this to create clips about. So I think that like text-based editing is something I call out here. And then I click submit. Underlord will think momentarily and then will pop me out a clip here. So this is now suggesting this clip. It's about 18 seconds. Like I mentioned, it's not going to be exact, right? But like this range, depending on your content, I can now select this. And this is a preview of what that looks like.
Descript could also generate AI version of your voice with our AI speaker feature. After you've generated AI speech, you can export your video or audio.
So like a couple of clicks and Underlord applied this layout, like reframed my aspect ratio so I could publish this to a different platform entirely. Yes. And it's like, are you done? Cool. But yeah, it's very, very, very quick actions to get from like my existing content to something shorter. Same idea with like the highlights thing, create highlights. It's almost the same idea, just like what are some like sizzle reel type content versus like what is my viral marketing moment, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah.
Exactly. And that clip, like it gives you this starting point, but like you could see the captions are over Marcello's face. We could just move those down. You can change the colors. Exactly. That is all you've been working hard. That's a lot of episodes.
I am sponsored. Reach out to me personally for my you can donate to my podcast.
I love it. And somebody asked a really good question, like, what does repurposing exactly mean? Like, why would you do that? Great question. So, when you make long form content, like a long podcast or a long video, repurposing just means taking a small section or a clip to use on a different platform, either to promote that episode. So, like if this was a longer thing, episode 1 for Marcello, he wants to post a clip on TikTok to promote his brand or that longer thing. This is how you would do that. So you can post it on social media. You could do just smaller clips on your YouTube channel. That's also fine. So the aspect ratio is because Underlord is like, okay, we'll make this for TikTok, but you could change this to whatever aspect ratio you want. And some folks were asking about that. Could you show how to change that the ratio for this?
Yeah, if so, anything I want to change visually about like this content is going to be here in the scene editor. So just top left of this area, I'm going to have options for landscape, portrait, and square. Again, it's even going to give like the common social medias that this relates to right under. Or you can, if you have something custom, like you have, I don't know, a spherical display for some reason, you can click other for a custom option.
Cool.
If you have a spherical display, hit me up. I gotta know what that's about.
Oh, Marcello, a good question on this from Lisa in the chat. So this is great. Underlord, picked out some clips for us. But what if I know where I want the breaks to be for the clips? What if I just know this section is great and I want it to be a clip?
So this is exactly what you were mentioning earlier, Christiana, with like either giving the bot some control or you having creative control, right? Like if I have an hour long conversation back and forth with me and you, right? I might not know where to start with breaking out my clips. So that's when I would use Underlord as like a brainstorming partner to say, hey, like, what's viral because you are a robot that is consistently connected to the internet, which runs all of our lives. Can you tell me what's going to work here? Versus, oh, I know that when me and Christiana talk about how much we love our cats, that's going to be a really good advertisement. I want that selection like out, right? So I can make a text selection in my text here. If I know that like this scene is what I want as my clip, I can manually select that by just selecting this range of text. Then that mini menu that I referred to earlier appears above. In the ellipsis or like the 3-dot menu on the right-hand side of this, I can click duplicate to, new composition. There's an article on this step-by-step in our help center. But again, just to like review, I make this text selection. I click on the ellipsis from the menu and I duplicate this selection to a new composition. That new composition now is exactly like what we had before. I'm just now needing to manually add the layout that I want, right? So again, instead of Underlord grabbing that clip, making a new composition and applying a layout, since I know what the content that I want is here, I'll make that selection. I will duplicate that to a new composition. Then I manually will apply this layout. Again, it's like a little bit more manual, but if you know what you want, that's how to get it done. Or again, you can have Underlord prompt stuff, and then you build off of that. The building off of Underlord usually is more on the visual end than the content end. So if you know what you want your viewers to hear, grab that first and then apply layouts after.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. We'll hit a couple more questions here before we close out. So we talked about fonts, and you can see some different fonts here in Descript. What fonts do you have available, or could we just sort of show off how you can pick from different fonts for your content?
Absolutely. So yes, we have like some stock fonts. Let me see where we put that. We have some stock fonts, but you can import. I forget if we have this restricted based on plan level, but you can import your own fonts as well. And then if I wanted to adjust the font, I can so like I was mentioning earlier, scenes is going to affect a group of elements or layers. If I click on layer here, though, I now see information about this individual layer. So if I'm selecting a text layer, I can then choose the font from the layers panel on the right-hand side. And I can adjust like the size, if it's in italics, bold, yada, yada. But any of that's going to be done from here. And then there should be an option here to import font as well. Yeah, this cloud logo icon is add fonts to drive.
Yes.
And once you add a font, it's shared with everybody on the drive. So again, if I import our company font, Christiana then has access to it as a member of the drive as well.
Exactly. Cool. Okay, sweet. And then taking a different turn here. Okay, I'll do one quick hit and then one bigger topic, and then we'll close out.
Hell yeah.
So first off, what's the difference between the web browser version of Descript and the desktop app? And maybe we can talk about what we're using right now.
Yeah. So for everyone that's been watching today, I've been using the web version of Descript, i.e., I've been going to web.descript.com in my Google Chrome browser, and I have been editing, recording everything inside of that. I have been using, like, as someone that has worked here for a very hot minute and like works in customer support, I've been using the web version to extreme success. So, like, as a personal note, like, use that. But the desktop version of the application and the web version of the application, up until very recently, were two different iterations of Descript that had slightly different feature sets. As it stands today, we are making sure that both the desktop version, like the downloadable version, and the web version of the app are feature parodied. So within the next couple of weeks, they should be one and the same. But currently, we are phasing out an old version of the desktop app that might have like one or two different elements of the UI, like just where like things are named or located. But aside that, we should be pretty feature parodied for the web version and desktop version. I just have been stuck on the web version for a very hot minute. One time our CEO in a passing comment said the web version works better. So I was like, cool. And then every customer asked if that was true. So then I started using the web version, and it is. But yeah.
Exactly. Cool.
TLDR, like, soon, no difference, but we have been working up to having a web-based version entirely. And yeah.
Definitely check the web out. Cool. Okay. And then last sort of like new can of worms here before we close out.
Yep.
But there's been some chatter in the chat about AI voices. We mentioned it a little bit. What would I use my AI voice for? Could you just kind of give an overview of what that feature is and why people use it?
Great question. So for those of you that aren't aware, Descript has what's called AI speakers, or text to speech. So you can use either some of our stock voices, ones that we have in by default, or you can use your own voice by reading a training script and then having an AI mimic your voice. Why would you want to use that? Couple examples. Have you ever said someone's name wrong? Have you ever said the wrong thing, wrong place, wrong time, ever? I do this often. I use my AI speaker to go through ad reads whenever I don't want to. I use my AI speaker to correct things that I said incorrectly, or maybe even try to clean up my speech. If you have not noticed, sometimes I trail on and I need to condense what I am saying into a more better thing than I'm currently is happening in my mouth. So I use the AI voice to like restructure what I've said and then repeat it back in my voice. You can use it for a plethora of things. Sometimes people only use it as like their ad reader. We have some enterprise customers that like will never read an ad. They have an AI voice. And then people like myself, where I said the wrong percentage of tickets that came in our monthly report. I need to adjust that from 50 to 60%, whatever. So again, it's just meant to either generate from scratch audio that you don't want to record, or correct audio that you've recorded that you don't want to re-record. We have a lot of articles on our help center about this feature. Please check it out. There's a lot of really good use cases, a lot of really good like flexibility with this, and I would encourage everyone to try it out / submit feature requests if you got them.
Exactly. Yes. And this was a feature that was only available in English for quite some time. And now we support 20 plus different languages. So go check it out. It was like the best feeling in the world when one of our users for like 2 years was responding to me on Twitter being like, please, like AI voices in Italian. And the day I got to be like, guess what? Was the best. So definitely go check that out, folks. Cool. Okay, so we covered a ton of ground today at Descript 101. It was truly a blast to spend this time with you all and help you get your feet on the ground in Descript. I hope that you feel, one, better about navigating the Descript user interface so that you know which drawers have which things and how to accomplish everything you want to. Also feel like you can edit a video with text-based editing in Descript. And then 3 is those core Descript features like Underlord, scenes, layouts, so that you know how to continue building on your skills here. Again, this is for beginners. This was a true 101. There's a lot of different aspects that you can dive in on. And I just want to say you took a really good step by starting with this. Getting these basics down will make those higher level features that maybe you've heard about, or you're like, do I even want to ask about that? Starting here will make it a lot easier to build on those skills and get to those advanced features. So this is recorded. It'll be sent out in a follow-up email, but it also will live on our YouTube channel forever. So you can go check it out. Well, forever, as long as the internet lasts. But yeah, I've pinned the feedback survey in the YouTube chat. Please fill it out and let us know how we did today. Thank you so much to the hundreds of you for spending time with us, asking questions. Thank you, Trevor, on our support team, for holding it down in the chat as always. Trevor, you are the best. I also saw some community members helping out and answering questions. Thank you so much for being here and helping, because, yeah, there were like 350 people in the chat at one point. It's a lot of questions to manage. So thank you all so much. Last thing I'll say is please join us for Descript Season 8 a week from today, right around this time, 11 a.m. Pacific. We'll be streaming with our CEO, Andrew, and our product manager, Helen, and we'll be talking about in detail all of those updates to scenes and layouts. It'll be awesome. And Marcello will be hanging out in the chat and behind scenes. So if you want to hang with us more, you know where to find us. But yeah, thank you all so much. Good luck with your Descript editing. If you're on social and you make something that you want to share with us, please tag Descript. I monitor those accounts, and I'll share it with Marcello, and we want to hype you up and support your work. So don't be afraid to give us a tag and show us what you made. Cool. Okay, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you next time.